This episode of Blue Please was brought to you in part by HordeReview.com. Horde Review is a WoW fansite with something for everyone. New features include the WoW resume system, WoW armory integration, WoW bookmarking, community forums, social profiles, blog and more. Go check it out over at HordeReview.com.
And so, it begins. Dark were the skies and chill was the wind as the land was covered in a veil of malice. Across the hill did ride a dread army of the night, cloaked in mist and fog, prepared to rain down death and destruction upon the land. And the people did cry out for a savior, a noble soul to save them from their impending demise. Just as it seemed all was lost, in strode a mighty hero, clad in shivering metal from head to toe. Wielding a terrible broadsword, he did cleave his foes in two, smashing their ranks asunder with righteous fury. And when the day was done and the enemy strewn across the fields in pieces, the people did turn to the warrior and say, "We shall name this day in your honor. Speak unto us your wisdom." The warrior said one word that day: epic.
One man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now. Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, TotalBiscuit. The day today is the 30th of July, 2010. It's 8 p.m. 3 minutes past. In fact, I was a little late. Suppose that's unacceptable to some people. Considering the OCD of a lot of people that seem to watch my videos, it wouldn't surprise me in any way if people were like, "Oh, God, how dare you! I'll never listen to your shows again!" Yes, well, there you go. What have I got coming through in the show today? Well, wow, okay. The connection to the Tiny Chat server just fell over. Looks like we managed to crash Tiny Chat. Okay, fantastic. Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive. So, I've got the marketing manager of CynicalBrit.com in the studio today with me. Hello, Bunkerface.
Hello there.
Greetings. How are you doing this afternoon?
Pretty good.
Yes, excellent. Glad to hear that. Over the weekend, we've been sorting out some things regarding CynicalBrit.com. Like, how do we sell more t-shirts, Bunkerface? I'm sure you can explain that one.
Make better ones.
Yeah, what's wrong with my t-shirts?
No, they're good, but we need better ones.
Okay, we need to up the t-shirt count.
Yes.
Okay, we'll work on that at some point. Maybe after the show, we'll see what we can do with that. Oh, yeah, so what are we coming from the show today? Well, I interviewed somebody by the name of Terpster.
Oh, God.
I'm not sure if that really worked out so well. I mean, it wasn't so much of an interview as Terpster says things, and suddenly you feel very enlightened and or confused by the end of it. It's pretty impressive, honestly.
Enlightened?
I didn't feel enlightened.
Okay. No,
honestly.
Just asking.
Yeah, I really didn't feel enlightened in any way, shape, or form, unfortunately. Oh, well, never mind. You deal with it and you move on. That's simply the way that it goes. Okay, well, at least my mic's working, but the Tiny Chat certainly isn't. We're just like, yes, we just lost connection to the Tiny Chat, which means our cam went off, which means we've got to try and get a cam spot again. Which, you'd think as a moderator that would be fairly simple, but no! Absolutely not. It's actually kind of hard. There we go, got cam slot back. Absolutely fantastic. What else have we got coming up in the show? Well, we're doing the Terpster thing, and going to be talking a little bit about aesthetic in relation to storytelling. So, you know, I'm talking about one of the zones that got me, actually both of us really liked that one back in TBC, as regards to what was cool to look at and got you really engaged with the zone.
Yeah, it really worked with the story. And
Yeah,
we're talking about
Netherstorm, as I recall. Yeah, very cool story. I was really interested to know what happened there. And we're talking a bit about Uldum.
Uldum is great.
Yes, also known as the thing which may or may not get us banned from the beta.
It won't.
Well, I certainly hope not, honestly. I really hope not, but we'll see. I've got a full video of the inside of Uldum, and that's going to be coming up at some point. overnight upload because of the size. It's about 30 minutes almost.
Yeah, we've already got a video up of the outside of Uldum.
Yes, we do, which you can check out over on youtube.com/totalhalibut. Yes,
After the show.
Yes, not now. How dare you? Yeah, right, okay, so what else we got coming in the show? Also, we're going to be looking at a post that was put up by the Blues a couple of days ago. It's a few words on talent tree design. It says a few words. It's actually a good page and a half. And I want to talk about whether or not they're really fulfilling their goals in terms of talents, and if their actual ideas are correct.
It's a bit of a strange post coming from the same guys as who said that everything should be the same.
Yeah, it really is. We'll see how that one goes. It might work out, it might not. But we shall have a look at that. Also, of course, the chance for you to contribute to the show and indeed ask questions. It is the Cataclysm Q&A. It'll be coming up at the end. You can email themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com. And you'll be able to get in on that one. Doing about last 20 minutes of the show, I'll get on the beta, answer all the questions that I possibly can. Email them in over the course of the show. I don't take questions via chat anymore because Tiny Chat's too spammy and I can't actually read anything. So it kind of sucks, let's be honest. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's going to be fun, no doubt. We'll see how it goes. That's always the way of it with this show. Not a massive amount of prep, but just go into it and see what happens. Right, okay, so, is there anything else we need to talk about? Yeah, a couple of other interviews are going to be coming up. Big Red Kitty is going to be on next week. He's going to be talking to you about the Hunter talents. I'm calling this the classicalism.
Oh, God.
Oh, come on, I need support here. You're supposed to be a freaking PR guy.
I didn't invent the name, so...
Yeah, I know. You're supposed to make me look good. That's the point, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Great. Okay. Yes, indeed. Colo's saying, upgrade your streaming. I'm sorry, live streaming's fine. It's your problem. Sorry about that. Those of you who can't get on the stream, well, I guess you can't hear me saying how to get onto the stream. That's your own problem, isn't it? Yeah, streaming server's fine. We do have a backup if we go over the allotted limit, which we're getting quite close to. But I can post that in the Tiny Chat. So, if you're not already in the chat room, you should be. Head on over to cynicalbrit.com, click the chat button at the bottom of the screen, or you can go to tinychat.com/cynicalbrit. If you would prefer. Personally, I go to the one on the actual page itself because you don't get the adverts. Like on the Tiny Chat page, you get the adverts. On my page, you don't. So it's all good. Yes, classicalism. I like it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's actually pretty good.
Yes, the classicalism, where we all wear top hats and monocles. Pip, pip, cheerio, gents. What now?
Monocle smile.
Yes, indeed. Rah. Okay, so, without further ado, it's time for this.
Mail time!
That sounds like it's mail time. Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes,
I want to wail.
Yes, indeed, folks, it is the mail time. That is, in fact, the time where we read the mail. I'm told. The mail. The mail, the mail, the mail. The post, as we like to call it over here.
We never get snail mail here.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
What, you want me to actually give out my address, or do we need a P.O. box?
We need a P.O. box.
Yeah, so send it to P.O. Box 1337, Leet Town, TotalBiscuit World. No problem at all. That'll work, right?
Yeah, it will.
Excellent, good. You're on top of these marketing things. I'm very happy about that. Right, so, first email in comes from Yannick Klar. Is that how you pronounce it?
I've got no clue, man.
Okay, well, shall we over-enunciate it, do you feel? Yes.
We do.
Okay, excellent. Yannick Klar!
Klar.
Klar! What is that? That's a Murloc sound. You can't go for that.
Yeah, true.
Dear TotalBiscuit, as you said in previous shows, I shouldn't knock people's spelling because they're obviously not from this particular country. That said, we spell terribly in England, so it's not like it's even a contest.
I'm from Holland.
You spell better than most of the people in this country. Dear TotalBiscuit, as you said in a previous show in Cataclysm, CC will make its great comeback. This is me as a Fury Warrior, a little bit worried. A while ago, back in the days of TBC, we were never able to join any 5-mans because they always needed CC. Now, I do agree the current state of 5-mans is just terrible. That is your opinion about maybe tuning every 5-man to at least have 1 CC, in which the group composition would change to 1 tank, 1 healer, 1 CC, and 2 DPS. Myself, I always thought of some other ways to make it a challenge. For example, one mob in the group could get a buff from the other mobs that would make him so strong he can one-shot a tank, so he needs to be CC'd, but when all the other mobs are dead, he will lose that buff. Yeah, I'm not really... That's fine. I think, really, saying that you need 1 tank, 1 DPS... Sorry, 1 tank, 1 healer, 2 DPS, and 1 CC is a bit of a misnomer, because tanks can CC, healers can CC, and so can DPS.
True.
Almost... I mean, Fury Warriors, I get Fury Warriors don't really have a lot of CC, right?
We don't have any except for Piercing Owl.
Okay, but... Are you really ever going to get a composition whereby you don't have at least 1 CC in a 5-man group? Is that ever going to happen?
No, you don't.
That seems ridiculous. And plus, couldn't you sort out the LFG system so that wouldn't happen anyway? It's like, right, okay, here's the group composition we're currently looking at. Okay, there's no CC in this group. Let's make a different group. You know, have the matchmaking system do that for you.
Yeah, that's possible too, except you do have some classes that have CCs on talent specs.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it can look at the talent specs. It can look at everything, really. There's nothing stopping it from looking at the talent specs. So, to me, it seems like you could very easily have a setup where, okay, you need 1 CC. So, we're in a group with a Fury Warrior, a Unholy Death Knight, a Rogue, a Tank, and...
a Priest.
Some kind of Priest. Yeah, I mean, that's Shackle. You got Shackle there.
Yeah, it's only on that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You get Shackle, you get Mind Control, you get Fear. Did we have a Warlock in the group? I can't remember. No, we didn't, did we? We had...
it doesn't really matter. You have enough CC.
Yeah, oh god, the website just crashed. Oh dear! Yes, that's not good at all. I'm going to have to point my folks in the direction of that. Thankfully, the streaming server is still up. The database just fell over something fierce, so... Yeah, it looks like we broke it.
That's,
I need that sample.
That's actually wonderful.
Yeah, I think I broke it! Yeah, well, you can still listen to the show, incidentally. The streaming server is operating just fine. Oh, well, never mind. Yeah, sorry. Some people say, oh, fail. It's like, well, this is what's called popularity. At some point in your life, you might understand it. But there you go. Okay, I need to throw a message over. You talk about CC for a second, because I need to say, Webmaster, fix my site!
Oh, yeah, let's think about it. Warriors have none. I think I'm done.
Is that all you can say?
Yeah,
really?
that's all I can say.
That's the best you can do.
Now, actually, there's a lot of CC in... Oh, wait, we can get that MMO Champion class roll post. That's a really good one.
Okay, where is it?
MMO Champion.
Where on the MMO Champion?
Just scroll a bit
MMO
down.
Champion is quite large, honestly.
It's new. It's a new post. Just scroll a bit down.
Okay, class roll.
A bit further down.
Okay, still looking. Class roll. Oh yeah, also congrats to Paragon, by the way. No buff heroic kill of Lich King 25, man. That's pretty damn impressive. Admittedly, you're not so much over-geared, but you're optimally geared for it.
Oh, a level 800 Elite Tyrant Chieftain.
Let's not even start with that.
Oh, that one was...
Where is it? Oh,
that one.
This thing?
Yeah, that is.
Okay. So, what does this actually mean? Because this is the raid buff and debuff design.
Sorry,
right? No.
Incorrectly.
You're lying to me.
Yes, I am.
You're deliberately trying to mislead me. Okay,
yes,
cool,
I
excellent. Right, let's have a look at the other side. Well, the conclusion for that is, that it's totally fine to have CC in 5-mans, because someone's going to have it. The likelihood of a group coming together that doesn't have CC in a match-made environment is astronomically low. I don't see the problem with it. Especially with dual spec. I mean, seriously.
You can just switch if you actually need it.
Yeah, exactly. Right, warrior class, don't really care about that. We're talking about that a little bit later on. So let's have a look at something else. Instance design, okay. Got 4 minutes of this, so I'll have to be pretty quick. Dear hateful host of shows, you dare look upon the host of souls! I shall devour you all! Yes, indeed.
It's kind of terrifying you can't blind click that thing.
Yeah, I don't even have a large soundboard, I'm just not paying attention. I've been leveling a paladin lately, mostly through tanking random instances and occasionally doing a quest when I really feel like it. She's now level 58, and it was a few levels earlier that I realised what awesome instances Blackrod Depths and Scholarmance are. Blackrod Depths is not an awesome instance, please stop pretending this to be the case. But it's got 27 bosses and it takes about 10 hours! Yeah.
It's my favourite vanilla instance.
Hell no, Scholarmance is way better.
No, I like Blackrod Depths.
I hate BRD. I like the fact that it's there just because it shows that there's such a thing as excessive length.
I did 74 runs for the Hand of Justice.
Yeah, that sounds like great fun. Yeah, really. I got the first time through with my power leveled rogue that I was putting it through with RAF for the whole vanilla instance.
I hate you.
Yeah, I got it first time. It was pretty awesome. I then DE'd it in front of Bunker Face. Right, both of these instances contain a large amount of trash which can be pulled at a group's whim, allowing you to path your own way through the instance, and BRD even offers several paths for different bosses you might want to attempt. Additionally, they offer a load of variety in the trash and in the little events like the mini-bosses before Gandling and the Seven Dwarves and the Lyceum parts of BRD. Yeah, I love the stuff before Gandling. I think all of that in Scholomance for the mini-bosses is great, honestly.
I agree.
Great, really good design there across the board. Could have done with a bit more story, I think, and a few more actual events in there, as opposed to just, hey, there's a room full of stuff and a mini-boss at the end of it, and it might or might not give you some terrible blue gear.
I like the room where you could be knocked down into the fence.
Yeah, those are pretty good, awesome. Oh, what else have we got? So, yeah, there are dwarves everywhere in BRD, and a lot of areas are flooded with mobs, and there's just an obvious transition from the guards at the jail to the neutral patrons at the bar to the Arcana Smiths and the Goblin Forgers. Likewise, Scholomance is obviously divided into academy rooms with students, caster mobs, and areas where the undead are. A real problem I see with the instance design, not only in Wrath but also in TBC, is that the instances have become largely linear. There's only one path to take, instances are usually made up of corridors leading to rooms with more corridors, and generally they feel like simply instances catered to the PvE experience, rather than real areas catering to the immersion. Well, isn't that what dungeons are for, though? Catering to the PvE experience? I thought that was the whole point of them.
Yeah, they are, and give me an example of a non-linear instance. I mean, you can choose, I'll do this boss first, but That's not what non-linear is. You'll still reach the end boss. That's just you doing stuff in a different order. I mean, Precisely.
Theoretically, on some things, you could do that in TBC and Wrath instances. Nexus, prime example. You can do that there. Is the Nexus a non-linear instance? No. Just because you can go the other way round? No, that's not non-linear at all. Black Temple, they claimed, was non-linear. That wasn't non-linear either. Again, that's just doing bosses in a different order.
There are no non-linear instances in WoW.
No, they really aren't, honestly. I get that people have a lot of nostalgia about BRD, and I, to some extent, do as well. I just don't feel like it's a really good idea to throw BRD in there and say, oh, this is a great instance design, because a lot of it really wasn't. It had too much trash. It was too freaking long. Didn't we learn that lesson with Ulduar? Ulduar was a great dungeon, but people got so sick of it because it was massive and it took ages and it was the only thing to do for like 6 months.
Yep.
Same with Naxxramas. And don't call Naxxramas non-linear either. More bosses doesn't necessarily mean better instance.
You could actually name BRD a non-linear instance if you don't talk about the end boss.
Yeah, but then again, you could name any instance that way.
No, this one is long. That's why I'm saying that.
Well, yeah, but just because it's long doesn't mean it's non-linear, and there's no length requirement for that. I don't know, as I say, it just sounds like a lot of nostalgia to me. I did go into that instance an awful lot, and for the time it was really cool. I just think we've moved past that, and honestly, instead of like a 24-boss dungeon, I would prefer to see 4 6-boss dungeons.
I agree.
It's as simple as that. My name's TotalBiscuit with the marketing guy from CynicalBrit.com. It's Bungerface right here on Blue Please. So, do we have anything about dungeons or dwarves? Do we have Village of the Dwarves? Actually, do we? No. Oh, I'm sure we used to have Village of the Dwarfs by Rhapsody. It seems to have vanished. That's kind of depressing, really. Candlemass Black Dwarf will work, though. You ready for a bit of doomy sludge? I am, absolutely. Here you go. Here's a track for BRD. It's Candlemass with Black Dwarf. I'll be right back after this with a Terpster interview. ? Enjoy. You're listening to the podcast, an archive of Blue Please. Music was removed to comply with copyright law. If you'd like to hear the music, tune into the live stream on Fridays at 8 p.m. GMT. That's 3 p.m. EST, only on CynicalBrit.com.
Okay. Right, there we go. Sweet. I think that was pretty much spot on.
Yeah, it was. All we need to do now is edit out this bit, and then I can do the intro. It'll be fantastic.
Okay, should you have gone straight into the intro then? Did I mess that up?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
sweet.
Generally... that's the convention, let me put it that way.
Okay,
but
do you want to go again, or do you just want to go?
No, I think we're good. It's okay. I'll definitely
right.
edit all of this out of the podcast, and no one is going to hear any of it. I promise.
Do you
Absolutely.
do the Dark Were the Skies live?
I don't really do it live, per se. Yeah. It just becomes inconvenient, because you know how pedantic people can get. It's like, oh, you got this off by a semitone. I'm not listening to you anymore. It's upsetting,
it happens.
really.
It does happen.
I cry, sometimes. I cry. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit of the WoW podcast, Blue Please, on CynicalBrit.com. That's what you're listening to, and if you thought you were listening to something else, then you were deadly, deadly mistaken. I brought on someone who claims... Hang on, let me just check this here. Dear TotalBiscuit, I am, quote, te best. Inside sources confirm I will answer all questions about all classes. Sincerely, the T? Is that T?
Yeah, just one. Right. Just the T.
Just single T. Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure of that. So,
Yeah.
welcome the T to this particular show, who in 15 minutes is going to explain the entirety of World of Warcraft in a way that everybody can understand.
I got a doctorate in it. I'm a
Really?
doctor of Warcraft.
Interesting. For which university? What's your alma mater?
The University of Life and
excellent.
Warcraft. It's Life and Warcraft. It's a new one. It's quite a small one.
That's a bit of an oxymoron, don't you think?
Yeah, it is actually. I never thought of it that way.
Oh, well, you get new perspectives on everything every day. That's the wonders of life and Warcraft. So, I've heard that you specialised, in fact, you know all classes really well, but you specialised in warriors. So, why don't you start us off with that? We've been looking at the Cataclysm talents, and a lot of us are very confused because we don't play that class. You know, classes with swords and the hitting of things and the violence, it's a little scary for me, honestly. As a class wearer,
it can be, yeah.
So, you've braved that, I've been told. So, why don't we have a look at the Cataclysm talents? What general state do you think that the warrior's in right now in terms of the Cataclysm beta?
In the beta, it's definitely in what I would call a fun state. I found myself enjoying playing a warrior, which is, I think, always it's a positive. It's a strong positive.
Do you think fun is really all that important in video games in this modern era?
It depends, really, as to if fun also equals superiority. I think that can also be very important. As long as my class is better than your class, that does equal fun.
I see. Okay.
But for the most part, warriors, we tend to be doing all right. We haven't got it too bad. Quite clearly defined trees, which is always something that excites me as a gamer.
So you're a big fan of trees, then?
I love trees.
So
I
you're
love
a tree
trees.
enthusiast.
I was hoping that we were going to have PvT introduced into Cataclysm, but I haven't seen anything yet. But players versus trees would just be insane. It'd be really, really good fun.
Indeed. And fun, as you say, equals superiority, and superiority equals fun. So that's a good formula to work by. So what spec do you usually play, let's say, in the pre-Cataclysm era?
I normally play Protection and Arms. That's my dual spec. Protection because it's like instant dungeon finder groups, and Arms because it's easier than Fury.
I see.
So that tends to be my factor for doing that.
Indeed, that's important. So let's have a look at the Protection tree. That's had quite a few changes, particularly in the last beta patch. So what do you reckon to the state of the Prot tree at the moment? Are there any standout talents to you?
I really like some of the newer ones. For example, Blood and Thunder. I quite like the sound of Blood and Thunder. Basically, when you thunderclap a target that's got rend, you basically affect every other target that gets thunderclapped with rend as well.
Excellent.
So it
does that
saves
stack with
the
improved
tabbing.
rend and kills everything within a 5-mile radius?
I would hope so.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah, from what I understand, yes, it does, and that's why improved rend is still nice and high up the tree.
Indeed.
Accessible in Arms. But yeah, it's just those little things. It's something that whenever I go, for example, in Halls of Reflection, it's funny. They have this misunderstanding where they think I'm actually a bad tank. And it's funny.
I can't imagine why anyone would ever think that.
I know, exactly. It's just a fundamental kind of design of the warrior class that, we have Thunderclap on a cooldown, and I use Cleave and I tab. Well, I do alt-tab sometimes.
I see.
But I tab between targets. And like I said, sometimes the healer dies, but that's all part of it. That's part of my rotation. I've got, 1-1-5, 1-3-2, 1-5, healer dies, we all restart and I go again. It's quite a complicated rotation, but I've mastered it, I feel.
It takes a lot of practice to get to that level, I feel. Yeah.
Definitely. So Blood and Thunder kind of... firstly, I just like the name. I really do like having, Blood and Thunder. It sounds pretty badass. But also,
I must say,
what
it
it does
sounded
is
a
kind
bit
of
more
cool.
badass when it was enunciated by somebody in the game as opposed by you there. But I don't know, it sounded a little bit limp-wristed. Is that part of your strategy to fool the opponent into believing that you're in fact...
Sometimes, if the
Excellent,
taunt doesn't work, I try and kind of tempt them out and to see if they're just if they're intrigued or offended easily. So either way it works. But yeah, Blood and Thunder. I thought that was pretty manly. Can we lower this bit like on the Blood and Thunder or something like that?
Well, the important thing is that you believe that, and that's the greatest gift.
That
of all.
is, and I do believe it, which is always nice. I mean, I do feel like looking through the protection tree and things like that they've kind of stuck with that quote that they had where they were taking out all the filler talents. and pretty much everything is something kind of fun and new, or it's got a particular effect. I see quite a conscious difference when I get that talent, whereas before it's like, I got 2% extra armor. We still have that.
Yeah,
exactly.
But, I noticed that actually. That is really boring when you think about it. But you look at the other stuff. Have a look at Improved Revenge. Actually, I love that. It's a bit of damage increase, but it makes it strike an additional target as well. That's great. That makes what was otherwise a really dull and pretty undesirable talent overall into something that's really fun and enjoyable, and you get to smack multiple targets about. And warrior tanks always seem to complain that they couldn't tank multiple targets. So
exactly. I wonder if we're going now too far, where it might be too easy to AoE tank. But I doubt it, especially for me. So it just seems like they're giving us extra tools to make it kind of more viable for that. I don't know, it's kind of something that possibly could have been done with glyphs, and so people who wanted to be the AoE tank, could go and get some glyphs. But I think it's nice. It kind of gives you that baseline, so if you've got a warrior tank, they should be able to handle at least 2 or 3 mobs, which should be all right. Should be quite exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. So, do you do any PvP with that warrior of yours?
I do, but obviously, I say obviously, I use the arm spec for PvP. You can PvP prot, but I just find, obviously, with things like Mortal Strike and things like that, it tends to feel a little bit more, I don't know, I've kind of always grown up that arms is the PvP tree. They've kind of came away from that a little bit with Cataclysm, where arms has actually seemed a little bit more PvE in some ways, and that they're opening up Fury to be a bit more PvP focus, but some people do that already, so I don't know, maybe that's just me who's kind of experiencing that change. But I like some of the new talents in the arms tree. Deadly Calm, it's really exciting. We've got one for the next 10 seconds, none of your abilities cost rage, but you continue to generate rage. And that coupled with the new spell, which we get at, level 81, which is Inner Rage, which when we achieve maximum rage, we enter an enraged state. It's all about rage. Causing damage, we get 50% extra damage, and rage cost would be increased by 15%. But obviously, coupled that with Deadly Calm, which is only on a 10-minute cooldown, you've got 10 seconds of 50% increased rage, basically, with no extra cost. And then obviously a little bit after that. So it's it seems like the talents are being built around having some extra damage chucked out, which is always nice. The latest one that also came through, Throwdown. It's just basically we knock a target onto the ground and stun it. I mean, it's happened to me a million times all the way back from like Molten Core. It's happened to me, and mobs have been doing it, but now I get to do it. So I'm kind of excited about that.
A little bit of revenge, kind of purge some of those bad emotions, the bad vibes that have been in your master.
Without a doubt, exactly. I don't know, because it just knocks the target to the ground. I would have preferred if it knocked them back a little bit, just because that's a real fun way to grief people and knock them off ledges and things like that. So, but, you can't have it all, which is unfortunate. But Throwdown, kind of, again, cool name, cool talent. I like that. Indeed. It works for me.
Well, you can't always get what you want, Turbster.
Well, maybe. Who knows?
But if you try sometimes.
I will try.
Indeed. Excellent. So, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, because I haven't seen you in at least 25 years now.
It has been almost that. My WoW game card's nearly run out, so
Indeed.
It's been a long time. I am doing a few podcasts. I do 4 podcasts at the moment. I do one general gaming show called Giant Enemy Crab. I do one kind of general geeky show called The Incredible Podcast of Amazing Awesomeness. I do a movie show called The Movielicious, and I do a help podcast, like an agony aunt sort of thing, called Hypothetical Help. All of those can be found over on terpsdivision.tv, which is just my website where I post random things. And yeah, I do the odd video here and there. I do the odd blog post. I don't really do anything too seriously, consistently, or impressively, but I do stuff. So, that's where you can find
it's
stuff.
important that you're trying. That's
exactly, I do. I find a lot of people say I'm trying, actually, which is quite nice.
Yeah,
I think.
It's a good compliment, I feel.
Yeah.
Especially if a lot of people are saying it. That means they're very sincere.
They say, that Terpster, God, he's trying.
Indeed.
And I'm like, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's good stuff. So, I heard you were forced to watch the new Twilight movie, and
I loved it.
Right, so you still have your balls attached to your body then? They haven't been claimed by somebody else?
Well, they're kind of morphing into a new... It's kind of like a Zerg mutation. They've turned into like an Ultralisk sort of thing. But yeah, no, I did enjoy it. There was some really funny bits to it. Like, have you seen it?
Funnily enough, I haven't, actually.
Oh, you're missing out. There's this brilliant bit where the werewolf guy is carrying the girl, and it looks so ridiculous. It's just stuck in my mind ever since, and I can't get it out of just this guy running like a complete weirdo just with a girl in his arms. It's absolutely hilarious. I think I can't wait till it comes out on DVD just so I can rip that bit and just play it back. Maybe, I don't know, I might put it online. Do that. That's probably illegal.
Do you think they build it wrong, honestly? Instead of a dark gothic romance, it should have been a bit more of an action comedy. Maybe throw Bruce Willis
exactly.
in there.
If they had the Benny Hill theme tune while he was carrying the girl, it would fit so perfectly. It's a shame, really. But no, truth be told, I actually did enjoy it. Again, I've got no quarrels with my sexuality. I enjoy a bit of Twilight. I like a bit of True Blood. I like my vampires, in any which way, and that's all good. That's why I'm kind of happy about the Worgen being in WoW, because obviously now I can live out my kind of vampire werewolf kind of fantasies. I can be a blood elf warlock, it's blatantly a vampire,
of course,
and then I can sort of have a werewolf called Jacob, but I have to probably spell it with like a funny accent on the A, like one of those little kind of hats or something, so it all looks, it's not actually Jacob because it's taken, but it will say Jacob.
Yeah, of course.
And then I'll go and meet with all the other Jacobs who have rolled in the starting area, and we just play some werewolf. Wow, be quite exciting.
Sounds excellent. Yeah, you're really getting to the RP scene there by the sounds of it.
Well, not really. No, I don't consider that RP. That's just more kind of just, who I am or who I'm trying to be now, I guess. More of a werewolf just in day-to-day life. So, yeah, I'm quite excited by it.
Excellent. So, what's your overall opinion of the Cataclysm beta so far? Let's start with, what's your favourite bit?
Oh, that's a very good question. I absolutely love Hyjal. Playing through that zone was just... It's incredible. I have something I call... It's only for me, but I called it my Ashenvale moment. It was that first bit. When I first played through WoW, I had this... I played through Ashenvale, and it was... Again, it's not even a great zone. You harken back and think Ashenvale's not actually that good. But my first playthrough, that really kind of captured my imagination and just saw the possibilities of what WoW could do, what it could become. And it was, I think, just the quest flow in there. I don't know, I just really, for some reason, that kind of made WoW, to me, what it is today. And playing through Hyjal, I had that experience all over again of just, holy crap, there's so much going on. Obviously, there's a huge amount of phasing that goes on during Hyjal. The whole landscape dramatically changes from when you start to when you finish. You get to face off against major lore characters and work with lore characters. That just really just blew my mind. And then contrast that with Vashir and the whole underwater experience. I thought I was a little bit hesitant because obviously in WoW, whenever you go underwater, it's annoying. You move slow. You've got to go up to the surface to breathe. You can't eat underwater, so for regen you can only bandage and all of those sorts of things. But the way they kind of changed it and actually made underwater be really fun. And, there were bits where I was like, oh, hang on, I've got to run through all these mobs. Oh, hang on, no, I don't. I can just go over the top of them. And, it's just, it's a real kind of fun experience, interesting how it's very, almost like a refugee sort of feel to the underwater zone, because it's kind of, everything's very ad hoc and kind of put together on the go. I just absolutely loved the new kind of 80-plus content, and likewise the starting zones. They do a great job of kind of introducing the concept to you. The Worgen zone is better than the Goblin zone in terms of story.
It is. Yeah.
The Goblin one's still fun, obviously, and you get to do crazy things, but it's more of a sort of a gimmick.
Yes.
It's not to say I don't love it. It's still great, but the Worgen zone is, without a doubt, the greatest starting experience so far in WoW. But that being said, I saw your video, actually, on the Troll one. I haven't tried a Troll yet. But it looked...
Really good zone, honestly.
Yeah, it looked
very
quite
well
cool.
put
And
together.
then there's that whole kind of... conversation at the end between Thrall and Vol'jin, which seems quite exciting. I'd quite like to see that for my own eyes.
Indeed.
So yeah,
it's some good stuff. And
I'm loving it across the board. Really, it is absolutely incredible. I've really kind of it's reignited my love of Warcraft without a doubt. And this is only the beta, and we're getting booted every 5 minutes because of a server shutdown or
no kidding.
can't log in, and yet you still keep coming back for more because it is just that great. I'm kind of annoyed, though. I'm going to have to do it all over again. But I guess that's a good thing.
This is going to suck. By the time I'm done with this lot, oh, God. I just find some Chinese farmer to do it for me. Oh, sorry, I'll have to edit that one out as well.
That's fine. I'll do it for you if you want.
Yeah, you could do that. That would be great.
Yeah.
It won't be a problem. I'll send that over to you. And just get rid of that bit, and we'll be good.
Yeah, sweet.
Excellent. Well, ladies and gents, you now know everything there is to know about WoW. I feel enlightened and possibly aroused.
Most things. Yeah, obviously, a little bit short, but it's the conversation, that is. But I think we've covered some of the key points there. You might want to get another warrior on later on. That might...
maybe a few months down the line, once things have changed a bit and this interview is out of date. I think this is going to be the gold standard for a long time.
Yeah. I could maybe come back and do a different class next time.
Yeah,
I think, I could do mages.
Yeah, that sounds good. We don't have any mage experts around here, so that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because, I mean, they've got... I think they've got a whole new tier of water coming out.
They do, actually, yeah. It's very important that we discuss the mechanics of that as well as just what kind of crust they're going to be using.
Oh, exactly. And also, I mean, other things like portals. I mean, there's some great... there's obviously Dalaran still in the game, but how's that going to be used? Are there new ways... I'm quite excited, really, as to, just the portals and the rituals of refreshment, stuff like that. That's the kind of thing, as a mage, I get excited about as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, mages, how do they work? And we do need someone to explain that. Ladies and gents, the tea.
Thank you very much.
Displayed for all to see.
Yeah.
My name's been TotalBiscuit, and this has been Blue Please. Go check out Terps' stuff over on terpsdivision.tv. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the one. Or you can go to Twitter, twitter.com/the_T.
Excellent. We'll be right back after this, folks. Enjoy.
And I've got what you need! A premium quality Ventrilo server from UGTservers.com! It's goblin engineering, you see. Not like those inferior gnome products, always backfiring. If you're short on cash, you can even share the cost of the server with Guild Deposit. Have those lazy guildies of yours pay their dues. I could offer you this amazing electric cattle prod that'll really get them moving.
UGTservers.com. Voice communication for your guild. Get yours today.
You're listening to Blue Please here on cynicalbrit.com, which is currently down at the moment because we kind of broke it.
Yeah, you are with too much.
We hit the server a little bit too hard. Might have to upgrade, I think, once the paychecks start coming in.
We need a bigger pipe.
Yeah, we do. We need a bigger boat. It's all good, though. Here with Bunkerface, marketing manager for cynicalbrit.com.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking a little bit about zones, really, and zone aesthetic.
And story.
Yeah, indeed.
It's a bit of a broad topic. I mean, we've talked about Uldum, but we're actually also talking about all the other zones. I mean, have you seen this? We've mentioned Netherstorm.
Netherstorm, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, these zones show in their aesthetic what they're about.
Well, yeah, it's about telling a story by displaying visuals and various different themes. So, why exactly would we talk about this? Well, the reason we would talk about that is simply because of Uldum. So, the story with Uldum is this. Last night we did a video of Uldum whereby we flew around the outside of the invisible wall that's stopping you from getting in there.
And horribly died.
Yes, repeatedly. So, it doesn't matter, because we got some good shots and we did a pretty good video of it. But then we were alerted by a couple of viewers that it might be possible to get in and bypass the invisible wall entirely.
We're not going to tell you how you do that.
No, we're not going to tell you how you do that. No, we're not going to be in the business of doing that because, hey, it's probably going to annoy Blizzard enough that we went in there to begin with. I'm hoping not, really. I mean, if they've got any common sense, they'll realise that a 30-minute video of probably the best-looking zone they've ever put together is nothing but fantastic marketing for them.
They're not going to be irritated by that. They will be irritated if we tell them how.
If we tell you how to get in, then that could be a bit of a problem. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So we made our way in there, and we looked around everything we could possibly find. I mean, we scoured that place.
Pyramids.
Yeah, there were pyramids, there were tombs, there were ancient temples, there were big statues, there were hieroglyphs, there were settlements as well. Yeah, lots of settlements, there were aqueducts, there were the floating towers, the sky dome, a sky wall even.
And the strange rolling dive submarine drill thing.
Yes, exactly. There's lots of very cool stuff in there. And the zone isn't fully populated yet because it's not ready, honestly. So, yeah.
A lot of really interesting earthen designs, though.
Yes, a lot of cool earthen stuff and everything. And honestly, it was probably the best zone I've ever seen out of all of them. Completely.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yes. It looks good. It really does look absolutely fantastic. And I'm very much impressed by that. So, why does that matter? I think that's probably the most important thing to say. For someone who, say, is like me and really only cares about the raiding and stuff, why would aesthetic matter?
Do you like leveling in blasted lands?
No, because it's boring.
That's the reason.
Right, okay. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Theoretically, you could do the same 4 types of quest in a white box, and you would get your levels. But it's best if you were to do it in somewhere that's actually interesting. That might give you a little bit of engagement in terms of the story.
Killing mobs in a white box would mean you're playing a Korean MMO.
Yeah, pretty much. It would be a grindfest. It would be a total waste of time. The aesthetic matters. And it even matters in raids. In fact, it especially matters in raids, because you're seeing it in, week out basis. It's important that you have something interesting to look at.
Where do you like raiding more? Molten Core or...
Ulduar?
Ulduar, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ulduar looks way, way cooler than Molten Core ever was. It's something that a lot of people should care about, even if they don't really care about questing or lore or storyline or RP or anything along those lines. They should care about how something looks, simply because it's just more fun to do it in more interesting scenery.
Yeah, and I'm always older. I'm looking forward to what Twilight Highlands it's called.
Yeah, I've only seen a few screenshots of that, and it mostly seems to be, well, a highland.
Silithus.
What about it? Well, in terms of the way it works? And the way it looks?
Pretty much.
Yeah, Silithus, man, I mean, I don't know it's the best looking zone, but there is a lot to it.
Yeah, there's a lot to do, and that's pretty important to me too.
Yeah, I mean, that hasn't actually changed in Cataclysm thus far. I don't know if they're intending to do that. They might be.
They have to.
Well, they don't really have to, though. I mean, they don't have to change every single zone.
Name me a zone that isn't changed next to Silithus.
Yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head. Well, everything in TBC, everything in Northrend as well. Definitely.
Yeah, okay, I'm talking about Azeroth.
Azeroth. Well, Coldridge has barely changed. Dunmorrow has barely changed, I'll tell you that. There are a few things, honestly.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think you're probably right that they should really change everything. So, Silithus we haven't seen, but Silithus is a really good zone. At least it was when they first brought it in. And a lot of that was not just due to the fact that they had good quests. It was because the whole Twilight storyline, the old gods and the Kiraji and all that cool stuff going on is actually interesting.
It's all out of date, and you need 200 people in that zone to be interesting.
Yes, you do. But it was great when they brought it out. I did it when they first brought it out, and it was fantastic. Really good fun. I remember doing the boss fights. I was on a PvP server, of course. It's not just the boss fight. You've got to fight the other dudes as well. The summonable world bosses were pretty tricky.
I remember ganking the guy summoning bosses.
Yeah. I remember doing that on... Oh, what was it? We did it a bit on Azuragus, but it was way funnier on the big dude, Kazakh. Yes, Kazakh, yes. That's the one.
Griefing that one with level 1s was bannable at a certain point?
It became bannable at one point, yes. PvP there wasn't bannable, but griefing with level 1s and just throwing him at Kazakh to give him buffs and health back, yeah, that was griefable. That was a bannable offense as far as I'm aware. It's good stuff, but when it comes down to it, the Silithus zone had a really intriguing theme to it. It's not just about story and lore. It's about... simply...
The zone itself was kind of bland in aesthetic. I mean, it was one thing, that's it.
It's about theme. It's about the general feel of the zone as a result of what's going on in the story. And you don't have to be uber immersed into the quest text to realise that.
True.
That's the thing. You can see it. It becomes visual. That's why I was really intrigued to look at Oldham. The thing about looking at Oldham right now is that Oldham isn't complete and it's actually not very populated. But that's even better because you can speculate. It's like, what is this? What's going on here? And you can really let your imagination run wild a little bit. You don't have to be led by the nose in terms of storytelling to get immersed in the story of a zone.
I mean, we saw some crazy moving plates and crazy red glowing crystals.
There's a freaking laser drill. There's a laser drill in one of those things. We flew into this big temple, and we found this beam, and we looked down, and it was this giant crystal laser drill, trying a giant borehole down at the earth. We flew down it about 40 or 50 feet, and then we saw what appeared to be a kill zone down there, so we didn't want to fly into that. But it's like, what is this, and why is it here? You know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's hilarious. And really cool. The stuff about the Tolvir is really awesome as well. There's not very many of them. There's like 3... Well, there's 3 Tolvir that are not buried in sand that we could find.
And we saw very aggressive camels.
Yes, indeed. Very aggressive camels, actually, come to think of it. It's really great in that regard that you do get to explore and piece the story together yourself. So I wonder maybe if Blizzard has to be a little bit hands-off with it. Because a lot of the Silphus stuff is not just fed to you directly, and you can understand, you can get a feel for what's going on and the mystery of what's going on simply by actually playing the zone.
Just by seeing all the creatures and stuff, you can actually make out the story. What's happening there.
Yeah.
All the Night Elves dying in the area to the left of the
of
zone,
course,
and
exactly.
All that stuff is really
Well,
helping.
speculation's cool, because the problem with MMOs is that they don't really leave an awful lot to the imagination in terms of the storyline, and I think that's missing from a lot of games. You don't have to explain the lore to the finest detail. Why don't you just let people actually go and say, hey, I'm just going to look at this and I'm going to come to my own conclusion here. And it doesn't matter if it's canon. Who cares if it's canon, you know?
Or bacon.
What?
Just saying.
Who cares if it's bacon? Well, I don't personally care if it's bacon at all. But
the thing I mean is the game itself doesn't have to show you what it is. 50% of the people or more don't care about the lore. They care about what they think of the game.
Yeah, well, it's what they see and how entertained they are. And Blizzard turns around and asks, are you not entertained? And some people who read the quest text says, well, yes, Blizzard, we are entertained by reading this quest text. And everyone else says, Blizzard, you need to make better zones. No, we don't care about quest text. We want to see cool stuff. And the Goblin area's got a lot of that. The Goblin starting zone. But then, again, it's like, which of those two zones is, let's say, between the Goblin and the Worgen, is more immersive? Worgen, yeah. But a lot of the stuff for Worgen is quest text, so how can that be immersive?
It's not entirely quest text, though. You've got a lot of voiceover, and the aesthetic of the zone is way more grim-dark.
Yeah, and they show a lot of things. Because of the amount of phasing, they're able to show things progressing, which is what they weren't able to do previously.
I would actually say people with a short
attention
span would like the Goblin Zone better, I think.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got the attention span of a goldfish, ladies and gentlemen, Goblin Zone's just for you. It was designed with you in mind. So that's what, 90% of the WoW player base?
All the Alliance players.
It's too hard. I have to focus more than 15 seconds. I don't know what's going on. Dear Lord. Uldum, to me, seems like there's a lot of opportunities there to really tell a great story.
Without actually telling the story in quest text.
Yeah, exactly. But think about aesthetic for a second. It doesn't matter if you've got a great story if the zone isn't interesting to look at. It's why Netherstorm was one of my favourites. It was one of yours as well, as I recall.
Yes, it is. It's a zone I've spent most of the time in.
Yeah,
PvC.
I spent a lot of time in there as well. It was very unique in the way that it looked. I liked the whole sort of techno-fantasy thing with the otherworldly demon stuff going along.
Yeah, especially the mines. I really like the way they did those elven parts on top of the mines, and the how's that instance called? I forgot.
I don't have any idea which one.
The 5-man, the first one you go in.
Oh, the Mechanar.
The Mechanar,
yes.
Mechanar, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that the whole zone seemed to be geared towards something. Like, this zone exists for a purpose, and this appears to be some kind of gigantic industrial operation, and it all leads through to Kael'thas at the end.
Yes.
And, all of this culminates. It's nice that you've also, of course, got dungeons with different themes, but they're all part of the same area. So they're all linked together in some way.
Although, how's the lower right zone called again? Shadowmoon? Shadow...
Well, Shadowmoon Valley.
Shadowmoon Valley.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, but it also had the same story... way of telling the story.
Yeah, all the way up to Black Temple. Yeah,
Yeah.
it did. It was very well tied together in that regard, and again, you didn't have to pay too much attention to the lore to realize what was going on. It was something that, Netherstorm was obvious, like, hey, Kael'thas is mucking about in Netherstorm, and all of this is really cool. And Shadowmoon was like, oh, look, Illidan is mucking about in this zone, and everything's also really cool. I didn't like it as much as I liked Netherstorm. I thought Netherstorm was a much better zone. But then there were areas like Blade's Edge that I just didn't give a damn about.
Blade's Edge was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't care about Blade's Edge. I cared a bit about Zangarmarsh because there was a lot of creepy cool stuff going on that, again, linked well into the instances.
Yeah, true. All zones that build up to an instance get a plus for me, because that's always a good thing.
Yeah, exactly, because that's the best way to tie the story together in a way that PvE players like raiders and things really care about. Makes perfect sense. You think about some of the instances in Wrath compared to TBC, because you've got Hellfire Peninsula had a bunch of instances that all tied together. Zangarmarsh was actually one of the best ones in that regard, because all of the Zangarmarsh stuff that was going on at the top on the surface was linked together to what was going on below the surface in all of the Zangarmarsh instances there. And then you had stuff, then you got stuff in Wrath like, well, one example would be Violet Hold. You know, it's got a very tenuous link to what's going on with the Blue Dragon Flight, and that's really about it, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got the...
the Infinites in there as well, aren't they?
Yeah, true. Yeah. I'm so bad at zone names. The lower right one in Wrath of the Lich King.
Howling Fjord, is that?
Howling
Dragon
Fjord,
Blight?
yeah.
Howling Fjord.
The Howling Fjord zone, the entire top part of that zone is a introduction to the first instance.
Yeah, it is. There are a lot of good examples of that, and I think that really does actually matter in terms of the storyline. So, Oldham is looking really cool, and I do absolutely 110% want to see way more of that stuff. I want to see better storytelling, and when it comes to actual questing, I would just like to have a storyline that's introduced to you as you play and not force-fed to you via reams of text.
Yeah.
It's a bad way of delivering a message. It really is.
Like A4 quest text.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, read the quest text to understand the law of the zone. Why don't you just show me in events and in the way that the zone is actually constructed and in who's in the zone? That's the best way to tell the story visually. This is a computer game, it's not a novel. We don't need reams upon reams of written exposition.
I can't think of a zone in vanilla that did that, but there are zones that did that. Like Western Plaguelands did that.
That was pretty bad, yeah. It was just, hey, look, there's stuff, and there's cauldrons, and there's more cauldrons, and all of the lore you're really just going to find in the quest text, and Scholomance was barely linked into it in any way. It's like, it's an undead school of the damned. Is it linked into the zone all that much? Not as far as I can tell.
Razorfen Down was the best thing that way, I think.
I don't think anyone's ever said that, ever. Razorfen Down was the best at anything, honestly.
No, actually, it's part of the zone. Razorfen Crawl, sorry.
Yeah, Razorfen Down's bad, man. Crawl was okay, but yeah. So yeah, that's my conclusion on that. Oldham's going to be awesome. There'll be a video up. If you're a podcast listener, you should have it by the time that you listen to this. If not, then you need to go check on my YouTube channel. Go subscribe to it. That'll give you all the deliveries, and once my website's back up, everything will be just fine, I'm sure. My name is TotalBiscuit.
My name is Bunkerface.
So I've been told, indeed. So we're going to play some music. That sounds like a fairly good idea. Do we have something Egyptian for Oldham? I don't know.
I've no clue. Maybe.
Yeah, actually, I do. Tad Morose with Anubis. There we go. We'll play that one for you.
Sounds
right back after this to talk to you about Blizzard's new talent design philosophy, as well said by them. Enjoy. You're listening to the podcast, an archive of Blue Please. Music was removed to comply with copyright law. If you'd like to hear the music, tune into the live stream on Fridays at 8 p.m. GMT. That's 3 p.m. EST, only on cynicalbrit.com. Yes, indeed, folks. As Tiny Chat crashes once again, you're listening to Blue Please here on cynicalbrit.com, which has also crashed today. We're not doing very well, are we, in terms of keeping things alive?
No.
No, we're really not. It's not great. Oh, well, never mind. I'm sure we shall deal with it. So, while I'm here, I would like to answer questions I've been getting via Twitter. A bunch of people have asked me, can we donate and help you get a bigger boat and show our support? You can, but nobody's asking for it. And it's as simple as that. I'm not begging or anything like that. If you want to drop a tip into the tip jar, you can do it. It's a PayPal link. It's TotalBiscuit at gmail.com. That's TotalBiscuit at gmail.com. It's entirely up to you, and I'm not asking for anything. I don't expect anything. The show's just fun to do, so it's all good.
Do you accept cash donations?
I do, in fact, accept cash donations. Yes, there you go. I accept donations in forms of monocles, as it would happen. That's very important. So, yes. Anyway, so let's get on with it, shall we?
Get on with it.
Yes, sounds like a good idea. So, there was a interesting piece of information that came up on MMO Champion about 5 days ago. They tend to do this. They tend to post all the interesting stuff when I'm not there. Kind of annoys me, really. I think they're doing it on purpose. It's some kind of evil conspiracy.
I hear bar.
You hear bar?
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't hear bore, or is it just bar?
Bar.
That's a terrible way of pronouncing it, man. It seriously is. I think you're doing that wrong, honestly.
I'm doing it wrong, I know.
Yeah. So, talent post by Ghostcrawler right here. I'm going to post this, and it'll be in the show notes on cynicalbrit.com. There you go. And
it's rather interesting.
It is, actually, yes. So, I'm going to read this out for you. Rather than derail threads on individual classes and specializations, I thought I'd address some common questions or misconceptions regarding talent tree design in this one thread. We don't consider bloat a bad word. Players typically say that when there are more talents than they can possibly get. That's kind of the whole idea. When you run out of interesting talents, that's when we think we have a problem.
I wouldn't entirely agree with that one, by the way.
Okay.
What someone finds interesting, someone else might not.
Yeah, well, it's all going to be subjective at the end of the day. There's nothing you can really do about that, per se.
And there's not enough bloat at the moment.
Yeah, actually, it's too streamlined right now in the beta. There's not enough choice. That's the real problem I've got with it.
I know a bit about warriors, and warriors only have one choice for fury, one choice for prot, and one choice for arms.
Do they really only have one choice for fury, though, with the whole Titan's Grip and single-minded fury thing?
That's one talent, man.
What, is it one talent now, or are you just talking about it being the exception that proves the rule?
No, you can choose or two-handed fury or one-handed fury, that's all.
Right.
That's the difference.
Okay. Yeah, that's not so great, is it?
No, and I don't know that much about other classes, but I know there is already a spec that is best done for almost every class.
Interesting stuff. So, well, go on this and see what it's actually going to say about it, because, yeah, as I say, bloat is not what they are suffering from in the beta right now. Certainly not in the mage trees. I was looking at it, and there's really no choice at all, honestly. It's like, you can take this if you want a PvP talent, but in terms of if you are a raider, you're going to go one spec.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that's something that I hope they would deal with by completely remodeling the talent trees. Anyway, it goes on and says, related, if we do our jobs right, you're going to run out of the DPS talents or healing talents. No, that's not right at all, though. If we do our jobs right, If you do our jobs right, we're going to run out of you are going to run out of DPS talents. No, you don't want that.
You do.
No, you don't.
You do. You want to get all the DPS talents there are, and then get a few utility talents. That's what it means, I guess.
Yeah. No, I'm not keen on that. It's a real talent system, as far as I'm concerned, should have various choices for DPS in it, and you might complain, balance. It's like, oh, for God's sake, yeah, Blizzard doesn't know anything about balance, do they?
Yeah, but Blizzard isn't going to do that, what you're saying right now.
But why not?
Because it's Blizzard, I don't know.
Yeah, apparently so. I don't think that's a good enough reason, honestly. It really isn't. You shouldn't run out of talents. You should always have more talents that you would like than talent points that you have available to spend. As far as I'm concerned. Hell, even Vanilla managed that to some degree.
To some degree, yes.
It wasn't perfect by any stretch, but right now in Cata, it seems like you're going to pick the talent. It's geared out so that you go down one tree, obviously to 31 points, and then you unlock the other tree, then you splash in another tree. And the choice really only seems to be in the splash. And even then, there isn't really all that much choice. I mean, if you look at, say, the way the mage talents were right now, let's go to WoWTel, because a lot of this stuff has been changed right now. I'll try and give you an example. Maybe this has been changed recently, because it got changed in a beta build today, I believe, as well as a few other things. So,
oh, look, the two best classes are on top.
Yes, they are, indeed. Right, so, let's have a look. Here's an example. They've actually changed that now. That's smart of them. Yeah, before they changed this, they had 3 mana regen talents all on tier 1. So, you'd end up getting all of those.
That's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, you would. I mean, if you were going into Arcane, obviously it's big mana-heavy thing. You go at 31 points Arcane. Then you take Master Balance, and then you take Frost Channeling. That's no longer at Tier 1. They've actually moved that. You've got Early Frost, Piercing Ice, and Shatter now in Tier 1. Frost Channeling is... Where the hell is it, actually? Where's it gone? They have... Have they taken it out?
That's possible.
Yeah, it's gone. Whoa. That's intense. Okay, cool.
They have removed a lot of stuff, by the way.
Yeah, beta is beta at the end of the day, and that's been impressive. Combustion is down to Tier 4 now as well. But
that doesn't really matter, though.
No, it doesn't. I mean, let's try and make a fire spec, say, and see if there's any actual choice for PvE fire spec.
Okay.
I mean, Burning Soul is a kind of maybe, really. Is a chance you'll definitely want that, but yeah, have a look at that. So Master of Elements, Incineration, that takes you down to Tier 2. You take Ignite, obviously, and then none of that is any use at all.
Impact has been improved. Impact has been
Impact's
changed.
not even there right now.
It's one lower.
Yeah. They haven't done anything with it yet. A Blazing Speed is pointless, so what you do is you take 2 ranks of Burning Soul there, you miss out 2 points in Tier 2, then you take 2 in Firepower, you don't take Blast Wave, you don't take Impact, because they're going to be putting something in Impact, which apparently makes it useful for PvE, but it's not in there yet. You take 2 ranks Improved Scorch, and then you've got an extra talent, so you drop it in Burning Soul, takes you down to your Tier 4, you take Hot Streak, you take Pyromaniac, and then you go what? You don't take Improved Frames. Try it again. You've got to take Dragon's Breath in order to get Living Bomb, which is really annoying. You take 2 points of Molten Fury, and suddenly you've then got to apply 3 points elsewhere. You maybe get Blast Wave, Combustion, and Dragon's Breath. 3 points Critical Mass, then you've still got 2 points you need to put somewhere, which I suppose you're going to throw in at Impact, and then that's it. There you go. 31 points. I've taken every PvE talent in the Fire Tree.
Yeah, although some things will change.
Yeah, right now they will, but like I say, we're talking... In future, they're going to change, but we're talking about right now.
Right now
if I pick PvE Fire, I've just got every talent that could ever possibly have PvE utility. That isn't a choice at all.
Let's just see, what's the splash choices?
Splash choices, Arcane Concentration as an obvious one. What else? Netherwind Haste, 2 ranks in that, maybe. Otherwise, you don't take Piercing... Oh, you could take Piercing Ice because that's extra crit. You don't take Shatter, you don't take Early Frost, you then maybe take, well, you take Torment. You can't take Torment the Weak anymore for Fire, because that's been changed. You can't really take Invocation per se for PvE, you can't take Imp Arcane Missiles, and you can't take Imp Blink. So, you take 1 more in Netherwind Presence, and you're boned, basically. You can't take those last talents in anything that's useful at that point in time. So,
this is stupid. You've just made the best spec for mages done.
Well, for Fire,
mages,
yeah. And most likely Fire is going to be the best PvE spec from what we've seen thus far.
Well, you don't know if Arcane might be as good.
Arcane will be comparable. I don't think... Frost never gets there, but...
You actually don't know how much
I'd have to try an Invocation. 1 point in Invocation, and that's done. And even that's a filler talent.
You don't actually know how much mana conservation will help.
Yeah, I mean, I have to wonder... Is it worth going out to Tier 2 in, say, Frost, for instance? No, not at all.
Way.
Ice Flows, barely useful. Improved Cone of Cold, barely useful. Piercing Chill, barely useful. Permafrost, barely useful. So and then you'd have to take 2 points in a Frost ability anyway. So Frost is useless for splashing talents. So you end up with those. There is no choice at all. If you're going PvE Fire, that is what you spec. 731-3. There is no other choice.
You have like 3 talent choices, 3-point talent choices in Fury Warriors.
And I mean, you might want, I thought about mages too much. It's an example of a class that I know in terms of this is not good talent design. This is not bloat. This is too little. No, you don't want to run out of DPS talents. You want too many so that you have a choice. That's the point of customization. Otherwise, you might as well, at level 85, just give them these abilities from the get-go. If that's what you're just going to take anyway, why don't you just give it to them and scrap the talent system completely?
Yeah, but that's what they're already doing in part.
Yeah, but I hate it. I hate it. It's disgraceful. So, let's go on and read some more of this stuff. So, we don't consider every talent that doesn't directly lead to higher DPS to be a PvP talent. Survivability is a big deal in Cataclysm. Yeah, maybe, but you're still talking about a lot of stuff that really doesn't matter. Impact stuns? Really? Do you care? Are you going to use that in PvE? No, of course you're not going to use impact stuns in PvE. Come off it. Are you going to use Blazing Speed? You shouldn't even be getting melee to begin with. That's not even an option, honestly. So, Yeah, and I get the idea of talents that keep you alive, indirectly DPS talents, blah-de-blah-de-blah, except for the fact that it's been shown that all you need to do is be better in order to avoid having them.
This is actually really strange. They're countering their own point.
Yeah.
I mean, they're saying we don't want every talent to feel mandatory.
Except that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, so...
Looking at the state of Mage Fire right now, bearing in mind there are changes to come, no doubt about that, and this, I imagine, applies to other classes as well. I don't know other classes as well as I do Mage, but right now, Mage Fire has one choice. I mean... It's even worse than it is right now. There is no margin for any variety there, too.
I mean, if they could make cool utility talents that would work for PvE, fine. That would work. But they don't.
Onin makes an incredibly dumb point, I might add, in the chat room. It's like, well, TB, if you have too many DPS talents, there is one optimal spec, period. Yeah, and right now there's one optimal spec, period, because you don't have enough. There is only one choice. There isn't even the possibility of taking anything else. If you have one optimal spec, then all that says to me is you designed your talents wrong. It's as simple as that. There's only one way to do things. Well, your game is broken. Fix it.
Your one choice is bad design.
Yeah, one choice is bad design. Yeah. If you are designing your talents properly and your skills properly, and more importantly, your encounters properly, so that there is enough variety and utility in going a certain way with the spec, as opposed to maybe a different way, then that is the way that it should be. If you're not doing that, then you're not doing it right.
I mean, I had an optimal spec I used for raiding in vanilla. I had to respec all the time for Piercing Howl to do Razor Gore.
Yeah, exactly. And that's fine. Piercing Howl is not that useful outside of that encounter, but at least you got a little bit of variety there. But there were options. There still are options, honestly. You can muck about with a few talents and you can think, okay, that's cool. Here you can't muck about with anything. There's no point. Like, why are you going to take Shatter, for God's sake?
You don't.
You just don't. Certainly not a 10-man, because maybe if you have multiple mages, one is Frost, then you might take Shatter. But in a 10-man, you're certainly not going to take Shatter at all, unless you're speccing it to Frost, in which case, again, you've got another example of a tree that you just take the preset talents that are PvE damage. And that's it. That's all you take, because that's what it's designed for.
Like every other class right now.
Yeah, that needs to change. And people say, it's always been that way. It has not always been that way. And this is actually the thing I hoped would not happen with these changes. This is what I didn't want to happen.
You could expect it, though.
I can expect it, I just don't want it to happen. Blizzard is a better company than that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind this so much if they hadn't cancelled
Path of the Titans. Yeah, because now you need other things to provide customizability to your character and variety. And that's going to have to come from talents, because it's certainly not coming from glyphs.
Oh yeah, man, medium glyphs.
Medium glyphs, woo! Yes, yeah, I'm really excited about that. They're going to move improved mana gem down from major to medium. That's a big game changer right there for all the mages. Oh, go to hell, seriously. We are expecting better because Blizzard has provided better in the past. You do not let Blizzard get off with mediocrity. It's not acceptable. That's not... As a actual Blizzard fan, you would never let them get away with that nonsense. They have a reputation to uphold, and you've got to help them uphold it by making sure that your feedback says, this ain't good enough.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And hell, we got maybe 4 lines down that. That's how much I disagreed with what Ghostcrawler said there. You can read the rest of the posts there, but honestly, they have to provide more variety and talents, otherwise they might as well not have them.
This is crap, though. We aren't designing PvP versus PvE trees.
Oh, please. Yeah, talent specialization is a stylistic choice. Yeah, except for the fact that it really isn't a choice now, is it?
No, it isn't.
No, it's not. And that's something that needs to be handled. My name's TotalBiscuit here with CynicalBrit.com's marketing manager Bunkerface right here on the broken website. Oh dear.
If it wasn't broken, though, it'd be awesome.
Yes, indeed. Well, it is awesome. It is absolutely fantastic. So, let's play something fiery theme. We'll come back with some Cataclysm Q&A right after this. This goes by the name of Wildfire. It's by Sonata Arctica. We should just call them Frostfire, really, shouldn't we, when you think about it?
Frostfire.
Yeah, it's Frostfire with Wildfire, the Mage Band. Enjoy. You're listening to the podcast, an archive of Blue Please. Music was removed to comply with copyright law. If you'd like to hear the music, tune into the live stream on Fridays at 8 p.m. GMT. That's 3 p.m. EST, only on CynicalBrit.com. Yes, indeed, folks. It's Cataclysm Q&A. You can email them into themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com. And I shall answer them to the best of my ability for the next 15 or so minutes, and then I am the hell out of here. I'm freaking tired. I don't know what it is. Lack of sleep.
Are we going to see
too much work?
Are we going to see a movie?
We could go see a movie. Yeah, we'll see what goes on. We went to see Inception earlier, actually. Good movie.
Yes.
If people are like, oh, I don't understand. Well, you're not paying any bloody attention, you weak-minded fool. It wasn't that complicated.
No, it wasn't.
It really wasn't.
I mean, it's only
I went into there thinking it was going to be some gigantic screw-with-your-mind movie that was really hard to understand. No, it wasn't.
I mean, it's only a dream in a dream in a dream.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Right,
okay, so, first question goes from Andrew Duncan. Has the Dwarf starting zone got any changes since your video, and is the Gnome starting zone open yet? No and no. Simple as that. I went back into the Dwarf starting zone about 3 days ago, and it's still awful. So, yeah, they need to change that. They need to get it sorted out at once, because it is garbage! Really, really bad starting zone across the board. I am not impressed by it. The host of shows. I was wondering if in Caddy you'd come across any different styles of quests other than drop, kill, etc. A lot of vehicle stuff, a lot of magic wand. They haven't really changed anything too much, honestly. It really is... The way that they've got to do quests now is to expand everything on the concept of magic wand, as in, you use an item in order to make things different. You know, in order to do something that you can't otherwise do in the game engine. You're going to see a lot more of that, I feel.
Yeah, but they should be making more zones that are tied into the instance and stuff, like we've talked about in Nether Zone.
What, more quests and zones of that? Yeah, I'd agree. But no, I didn't really see any other types of quests per se. There's quite a lot of bombing runs. There's a lot of vehicle quests. There's a lot of magic wand quests, and all of the other stuff's still there as well. So I haven't seen anything particularly new, but a lot of the stuff is really well done, and I think that's more important. It's very polished. Have the TBC Eastern Kingdom zones been integrated in the Eastern Kingdom world map, Silvermoon, etc.? I have actually no idea. Let's find out. Kalimdor, Eastern Kingdoms. What, stuff like Silvermoon?
Silvermoon's up top.
Is it? Where? Candlemass, Eversong Woods, Ghostlands.
Silvermoon is there.
Yeah, there it is.
Silvermoon.
Yeah, it looks to be in the world map, as far as I can tell. Looks fine to me. I don't see... Yeah, it's you can see it right there on the world map. Yep, it's definitely there. Also crazy stuff going down in Maelstrom in the middle by the looks of it.
Have you seen that photo?
Yes, I have. It's pretty awesome. Are Worgen Death Knights playable? If so, where do they start? They start where every other Death Knight starts, i.e. in the Death Knight zone. Which doesn't really make an awful lot of sense, I know, in terms of the timeline, but whatever. I noticed in your latest video that they changed water ripple effects from flat texture on the water to an actual ripple. Any other graphic changes like this you've noticed since you started making videos? Well, the God Rays are the big deal, honestly. The God Sun Rays, that's sort of emulating a DirectX 10 effect, if anything. Also, you can send in questions via Twitter, by the way. Twitter.com/TotalBiscuit, that's the way to go. But yeah, the God Rays and the water effects are pretty much the only major graphical differences that I've seen.
It's not emulating a DirectX 10 effect. It is an DirectX 10 effect.
It's not a DirectX 10 effect, I'm sure of it. I know that some of the stuff is, but I'm sure it's not a DirectX 10 effect. But someone's telling me anyway, maybe they're wrong. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Cataclysm, that's from... Okay, that is from Stunny Baby. Okay, cool. The host of shows, how to get into Oldham. I'm not telling you. You can figure it out for yourself. I'm not going to spread glitching and exploits around. That's just not very wise. What do you think of the upcoming mage stuff? Yeah, there's been big fire mage talents. There's a lot of really cool stuff. Like an improved Scorch that makes Scorch cast for free, and you can also cast it while moving. It's like, yeah. Absolutely, I'm having that.
Could that happen with Slam Blizzard, please?
Yes, indeed. Doesn't Mr. Noggenfucker still serve his chilled elixirs down in Tanarus, or did he go elsewhere? I haven't seen him move, as far as I'm aware. I don't have a character anywhere near Tanarus at the moment, so I can't really answer that, and it would take ages to get down there. I wish there was a teleport Tanarus, that would be really nice.
I do have one, it's Gnomish.
Okay. With the new story arc occurring with the Horde and the Forsaken, do you think that Sylvanas will stay with the Horde or break away? I believe that the idea of a former faction leader breaking off and becoming a prominent evil force would be interesting for a new raid or 5-man piece of content. Also, do Worgen in human form still dance as Worgen? No, they do the human dance, and it would be interesting. There's a lot of tension right now. I know Vol'jin was thinking about it, but it doesn't seem like he is anymore because Heithral said, oh, don't do this. And like, okay, I won't do it anymore. I understand.
Blizzard is not going to do that because that would mean that a lot of players would actually...
You disenfranchise a ton of players, which kind of sucks. Are there any benefits to fighting in Worgen form over human form and vice versa? No, there isn't. Absolutely none whatsoever. It changes the animations, but it's pretty much all completely cosmetic.
You cannot fight in human form, can you?
Yes, indeed. Let's see. Seen that in the beta yet? I don't even know what that is. Somebody's linking me to something.
Viruses.
Oh, flying dinosaur shark thing in the Maelstrom, yeah.
With laser.
Indeed, whatever. No, I haven't, because I haven't been anywhere near the Maelstrom. I will at some point, no doubt. There's a lot of time to go, man. I haven't been everywhere. That would be ridiculous. What else have we got in the email box right here? As a mage, other than the mage, of course, what do you think the highest endgame DPS class will be? I couldn't tell you. In any way, shape, or form, I cannot tell you that. Because there's so many changes right now, there's no way you could possibly tell until it comes out. It's going to be dependent entirely on talents, honestly.
It's you can't say it, but you can be pretty sure it'll be rogue. Because it has been rogue for a while now.
Single target melee DPS? Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Okay. What else have we got? Have they implemented archaeology? If so, what kind of items can be found? Have they? That's a great question.
I really don't know.
I have not seen it yet. Will this Ogremark tell me about it? Profession trainer.
It's not on there.
Not on the list. So if there is an archaeology trainer, I don't know where he is. He's certainly not in Ogremark, and I don't think anything's changed there. They've put reforging in, but it doesn't work yet. So I can't even look at that either. Okay. Do you have to change zones and move to the TBC server when you go from Eastern Plaguelands to Silvermoon area? I don't know. I've not tried it. I have no reason to go to Silvermoon at all. Although, actually, I could teleport there and try and fly to Eastern Plaguelands, I suppose. That wouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, I see what you mean, actually, because didn't they do that to stop the non-TBC players from getting into that area?
I've got no clue, to be honest.
Okay, well, I'll teleport to Silvermoon, I'll try and fly over to Eastern Plaguelands, see what happens. I can certainly find that out. I have a feeling they haven't integrated them, honestly. Has there been any mention of SLI support in Cataclysm? It already supports SLI.
It does, yes.
Yeah. It does. Oh, god damn it! Stupid beta.
The beta crashed.
Yeah, go to Silvermoon. It's like, what are you doing? Go to Silvermoon, crash. It doesn't really surprise me, actually, in any way whatsoever. What's that? Yeah, that's about 1025, man. No. That's not a question. They want to add a new feature that you won't be able to do with both 10 and 25 man in the same week, but you've thought about this decision. I did this in a past show, and I thought it was really great. I did like half an hour on this topic. This is about the 10 and 25 man system in Cataclysm. Go look through my Season 4 archives. There's a search facility on the website. When it actually goes up, just search for 10/25. There's probably a tag for it. You'll find it. I did like half an hour on that at least. So you shouldn't really have to worry too much about learning about that. My opinion on that hasn't changed. Any news in Cataclysm about the new Lich King 4 Dragon?
He won't be in the story.
No,
they can't do that.
He's got absolutely nothing to do with the story whatsoever.
I've got a question for you, though. Have you found Tyrion Fordring, which is my favorite
Yes, I have. Yep, he's in Western Plaguelands. He's actually in Hearthglen. They took it back.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, watch the Western Plaguelands video on youtube.com/TotalHalibut. You will see Tyrion Fordring, and he's chilling out in his new home of Hearthglen, which used to be his old home, as I recall.
Yeah, it is, but he got kicked out.
Yeah, he's taking it back now, and he's illin'. Wow, what the hell? Guys, there appears to be some heavy gravity in Silvermoon. I can't take off. I'm flapping, I'm trying to take off.
You're jumping.
Yeah. I'm actually jumping with the frickin' flying mount right here. Apparently... What? Von Straight increases flight speed by 0%. I think flying might be a bit broken in Silvermoon, guys. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I don't know if I can even get that far. I certainly won't be able to fly over it. I think they haven't actually finished this yet. Probably, if you fly over this, I reckon it won't even show properly. Wow, okay. So, I can't answer that question because flying is broken. How do you get out of this place? Silvermoon's a nightmare to leave. Is it this way?
It's quite easy. Just go to the left now and walk straight on.
Right, okay, cool. This is so stupid. See what the fucking...
This looks amazing.
It's like boing, boing. Yeah, it can't take off. I just can't do it, Captain. I don't have the power.
It's a Bronze Dragon hovercraft.
Oh, it's awful. That is the worst thing. Can I get outside and maybe fly there? I have a feeling this is all a no-fly zone, honestly. Shepherd's Gate. Can I fly outside here? No, I can't. No, I can't. I can't fly in Eversong Woods at all.
Nah, man, you're flying, just low flying.
Yeah, I can't tell you because I can't fly in Eversong Woods. There you go. You learn something new every day. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? Let's see if anyone's been foolish enough to send me messages over chat. There's been a few. No, I can't provide you technical support in the middle of a show. Are you crazy? What else have we got? No. Thankfully, no one's been foolish enough to send me messages over chat because I can never read them. They spam far, far, far too much. Okay, I think we're about done for Cataclysm Q&A by the looks of it. We've already overrun by about 15 minutes. That seems fairly reasonable.
Yeah, that should be good enough time.
Oh, there's one more, actually, right here. Do you think the glorious Town Mill versus South Shore will be coming back in Cataclysm, but in the Southern Barrens? Oh, God, I think I'm being attacked by something. No, sorry, it was a feral dragon hawk, a level 6. Seeing as the Northern Barrens is controlled by the Horde and the Southern Barrens is controlled by the Alliance, I can only imagine epic classes.
I don't.
No, it will. It will. Have you seen the Southern Barrens? Have you seen the two facing encampments? There's no way there's not going to be world PvP there.
Some, but it won't be Town Mill versus South Shore because there are battlegrounds if you want to do PvP. There will be fighting, but it won't be Town Mill versus South Shore like.
Yeah, I guess, but it's okay, honestly. It's pretty damn awesome in terms of the way that they've designed it. There's a lot of stuff like Stone Talon's got a similar setup, a lot of opposing towns that could result in some world PvP. But again, world PvP really just comes down to mucking about. There's no real purpose to it.
They need to remove the rest armor then, though.
No, they don't. Just don't die. You'll be fine. That's all that's required.
Have you ever actually fought that in that way?
Yeah, of course.
Town Mill versus South Shore?
Yeah, man. I was in the battle, man.
10 minutes to rest armors and stuff for
Oh,
meleers?
yeah. Just don't die. It's easy.
Yeah, as a meleer.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't die. Roll the proper class. It's alright. No problem at all. See? I know what I'm doing. Shout out time, ladies and gentlemen. Send them on in to the Moloch at cynicalbrit.com. You can try and send me over the chat room. I don't know if it'll work very well, considering the issues we've been having with chat today. Thank you ever so much for listening to the show. As always, like I said, tipjars, TotalBiscuit@gmail.com if you fancy putting into that. I'd also recommend that you go visit our fine sponsors over at UGT Ventrilo servers. Go buy your Ventrilo server from them. They keep the site running, as do you guys, so that's absolutely fantastic. Remember, my YouTube channel is youtube.com/TotalHalibut. That Oldham video is coming up. And obviously all more I Suck at StarCraft 2 material is still going to be coming along over the course of this week. So yeah, plenty of content to come, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt about that. Email your shoutouts in, send them in over IRC, over Twitter, or whatever you like, and there you go. Nymph asks if I should give Captain Placeholder a shoutout. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, totally fine. I shall give Captain Placeholder a shoutout as requested.
Could I do a shoutout that is not WoW related?
I suppose.
I would like to give a shoutout to dumb action movies.
Dumb action movies like the A-Team, you mean?
Yeah, and Expendables.
So good, yeah. A-Team's awesome, fantastic movie. Anyone says otherwise, then, well, I accept the fact that some people may be sort of sexually orientated towards people of the same sex, but honestly, if you don't like the A-Team, you might have to hand in your man card. I really do mean that. Shout out to Pulse on Azun EU, that's from Darnius, and this is going to be a pain in the ass.
Don't do it.
No, it's fine. It just, these things keep people going. A shout out to Guild Knights of the Round and Alderman US, that's from Sean Caster. A shout out to Quantum Butterfly and Crush Ridge, keeping it alive since vanilla, that's from Nocturnus. A shout out to StarCraft 2 for being awesome, that's from Ragavali at Doomhammer EU. A shout out to OMG, it's Jay for being unoriginal. And a shout out to the especially epic show, I think we crashed your site and almost crashed Tiny Chat. Yeah, we did, that's from Grammaton 42 Ton. Yes, indeed, you can have a shout-out.
Twice, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout-out to Laser Shark in the Maelstrom. That's from Ralph. Yes, I don't even want to go anywhere near that thing. It's dangerous. It's evil. And, oh, God, I think Tiny Chat's broken again because these messages aren't coming up. Oh, God. Why? A shout-out. Greetings, host of shows. Can I get a shout-out to the after show with B-Drone and friends and all the Aussies in the channel? That's from Mitchell McLeod. Yes, you can. I shall give you that shout-out as requested. Australians. Why are you awake at this time in the morning? You guys are crazy. Insane, ludicrous in every possible respect. So we got, yeah. A shout out to Krim for likely being the most weirdest person in the world, as far as I know. That's from Flume. Okay, you're not exactly well liked, apparently. You are weird. Maybe also creepy. A shout out to Pulse on his own EU. That's the same one. Yeah, Tiny Chat's broken. I can't take any more shout outs through here. Oh dear. It's not working out well at all, is it? It's a disaster area. It's horrendous.
Tiny Chat has always been a disaster area.
I almost banned B-Drone accidentally there. That's a kind of cardinal sin. I accidentally clicked like, no, don't ban B-Drone. Won't have any entertainment. A shout out to the guild, What Would Thrall Do on US Realm the Venture Co. for being a bunch of badasses. Thank you, everyone. That's from Breno Mizzou. There you go. Excellent stuff. A shout out to my guild for Danning Lich King. That's from Andrew Duncan, a.k.a. Zazo. There you go. You can have that shout out. I think we're about done, ladies and gents. 1 hour 45, not too bad. Thank you ever so much for listening to the show. Check out the rest of the material over on cynicalbrit.com when it's working. That would be nice. And of course, keep an eye on my YouTube channel for further Cataclysm content coming out over the weekend. My name's been TotalBiscuit.
And my name has been Bunkerface.
Good night. You have been listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please, WoW's #1 shock jock show, only on CynicalBrit.com. We'd love to hear from you, so feel free to leave a comment on the Cynical Brit website.